Creativity today. My name is Paola van der Sluis, and today I will host this workshop with Michelle and Fiona. Um, well, I will shortly introduce the session and the setup of the session and the concept of creativity to you. But first, I would really like to know what you think creativity means and what you know about it already. And as I heard by Michelle, is that she already shared some questions with you in the chat in your channels to think about, and I've created a Mentimeter to shortly go through your answers, and I will paste the link in the chat. Now I find out that I don't know how to. I cannot find the chat here. It's maybe because I'm not. I can just share my screen. That's also possible.
Maybe you can email the link and I can put it in a chat. I have a chat function, but
Well, I think everyone can see this, right?
yeah.
Okay, so then you can go to menti.com and use the code. That would also work. Okay. I see now. Yeah. It's nice to see this coming to life. Still answers coming in. Okay. Well, I see that out of the box is really big. So a lot of people voted or answered that because when it's bigger, then there's more people answering. Open-minded, originality, again outside the box, innovation. I also saw something interesting, not per se useful. I will tell you a little bit more about it later. Novel, daring. Okay, thank you for those answers. I do recognize a lot about it, and what I also find interesting is that mostly when you ask people, they will come up with arts and crafts, for example, which is also a form of creativity, but not a form of creativity we will talk about today. We will talk about creative problem solving. So I find it interesting that you are already a little bit tuned into that version of creativity with the problem solving, because I see it here, problem solving, and I saw innovation. Okay, so that's great to see. Then we can go to the next question. Who is a creative person according to you and why? And it doesn't have to be a very famous person. It can also be just someone you know and we all don't. That's interesting. It's nice to see that someone finds his or her or their mother a creative person to help with ideas for problems. And someone says me because I don't like to do things the standard way. I have to say I don't know Haley Williams. Can someone elaborate upon that? Who wrote it? If you would like to.
It's just a singer.
Ah, okay. And why do you find her, I think, creative?
I just really like her lyric writing. I find it very creative.
Okay. And what is creative about it? Can you answer, or why do you think it's creative?
Because of the metaphors that she uses in her writing.
Then I will definitely check her out. I think I also really like when someone uses metaphors for. Interesting. Okay. Then the last question: what is the most creative thing you have ever done? I'm looking forward to those answers. Okay, it's really nice to see your answers. I love the lamp out of life plans. It's a cool idea. And also the lifting the barbecue. I mean, I had to laugh about it first, but it's really creative in a way indeed, because you have to figure out how to move this via like a route. And the dietary guidelines of the Chinese government. That sounds really interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, I will stop sharing my screen. Thank you for answering. It's really cool to see everyone participating and coming up with ideas already. That's what we will be focusing on today, of course. So I would like to tell you a little bit more about what creativity is according to a research by Plucker, Beghetto, and Dow in 2004. And this definition that they used is actually commonly used, although there's a lot of different definitions on creativity. So yeah, it's maybe just that creativity causes that everyone will come up with new ideas. So that's why there's no single definition that is widely used, but this is a commonly used definition. And this definition has actually two parts, which also are recognizable in a creative process. As I mentioned, today we will talk about creative problem solving and how to do that. And there is a process for coming up with solutions to a problem. So first, the definition. The definition has those two parts, and the first part is um, new or original ideas or projects or services. So with original, it is meant that two perspectives are combined that haven't been combined before. So then it's, yeah, in a way new, but maybe not fully new, but original. And this leads to, in the creative process, to the phase of brainstorming, because with brainstorming you have to come up with a lot of different ideas, and then if you have such a lot of ideas, there's always an idea wild or unusual or new. And that's why it's really important to have this phase in which you don't judge yet, and you will learn that later why it's so important. Don't judge yet, because that will come in the later phase, that you will that so in the brainstorming phase you have a lot of ideas and you think quantitatively about how to, yeah, so you will come up with new ideas. And then there's the other part of the definition of creativity. And that part is called usefulness. And that's why I find it interesting to see not per se useful in one of your answers. But I actually really like to call it contextualized. I like that word better. But of course, when you think about creative problem solving, and that's maybe because we didn't mention creative problem solving then, just creativity. But when you talk about creative problem solving, there of course needs to be a solution to a problem. So it has to be useful in that sense. But I like to call it contextualized because if you don't have that part of the definition, it's just random. If I give you, Michelle, a doll for your birthday or such a hand puppet that can talk, it would be, if you don't like dolls, that would be completely random. But it is maybe new or original, like you haven't had this gift before for your birthday. But if you are a primary school teacher and you really like to work with these hand puppets, and I made one for you that looks like you, then it's suddenly creative because it suits your context. So that's what I mean with contextualized. And that leads into the phase of selecting ideas after the brainstorm. And then you have so much ideas that you don't know what to choose. Then you will learn how to choose and how to fit it to the right context. So those two phases you will also recognize in our workshop. First, we will be brainstorming and then selecting. And that's what Fiona will lead, but we will help too. But first, Michelle will tell you more about the problem definition because that is also really important to give the brainstorm a bit more focus. So, yeah, I would really like to give the floor to you now.
Yeah. Is it possible to share the Miro board, because I added a visual that I would like to show.
Yeah, I also don't have access to the chat because we are external. But you have the link from yesterday, I think, huh?
Let's see if I can share the link of the Miro board. Well, let me first just show the visual. So do you all see the Miro board now? Oh, there it is. No, zooming in.
Yes,
So,
we see it.
Yeah, you see it? Okay. Yeah. So, Paola, you mentioned that creativity is a diverging and a converging process. And I wanted to show you that in this visual, you see the design thinking cycle, and you clearly see the arrow. So when you look at the problem definition phase that we are not going to tackle today because we're really focusing on the ideation phase, so really brainstorming in all kinds of directions, and of course, selection. But what's important is that you have to remember that the whole process of not only defining your problem, but also finding lots of solutions and finding the ideal solution. So what you mentioned, Paola, that you have to contextualize your solution. And I always have two terms for that. In a sense, is contextualization is feasibility. So can you implement your final solution? And is it a viable solution? So can your end users indeed use your solution? So, and I just wanted to state that in a learning environment, in the innovative learning platform, there's a knowledge clip that you can watch where you can find all kinds of problem definition techniques that you can use to really not only converge in the sense that you interview your client, you interview your stakeholders, you do research. So based on the enormous collection you're gathering at this moment, collecting in the empathize phase, you have to narrow it down to a problem definition. So, and because the focus in this session is purely on creativity, so the ideation phase, we've come up with a first problem definition that you can use to do this creative session with Paola and Fiona. Yeah? Okay. And also this week, we're going to add a knowledge clip on more ideation techniques that you can use. So Paola and Fiona will offer a few of those techniques today, but imagine that there might be 200, maybe 300 different ideation techniques that you can use. So that's what I wanted to share. I'm going to unshare my...
And maybe it's good to add, I think, Michelle, that the problem definition that we use today is just like to test it, to test how brainstorming works, to come up with ideas, and then later on you can use your own problem definition.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's good that you mentioned it.
It's not a problem. Yeah.
No. And I think that a problem definition is also the starting point to be creative and start being creative. And your solutions will also be input for your problem definition, in the sense that you discover if your problem definition is the right one or the good defined in that sense. So, but today, of course, we just added an example of a possible problem definition. And yeah, so if there are any questions, please ask them in the chat or just put your hand up, because it's very important that, well, that everything is clear. Okay.
Michelle, I send the Miro link to your email address, so you can share it in the chat.
I also copy and pasted it. I will. So I added the link to the Miro board in the chat. I see that Lucas is saying that it's interesting how out of the box is the most inside the box answer, apparently.
Yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to continue, or does anyone want to elaborate on that?
Yes, I think we can continue. If everybody can go to the Miro board. I will bring everyone to the question, the brainstorm question we prepared for you, the problem definition we were just talking about. I only see 11 people. Now there are more.
Lost the link. Oh, this is really. I will try to find it, because I cannot enter the chat now.
How do you do that?
No, I cannot. I mean, so I don't have the link. Can you send it to me, Fiona?
I can send it as well, Paula.
Okay, thank you.
I will send it now to you.
I already see a lot of people moving around, so I guess most of you found the Miro board. Anyone not able to access Miro, please raise your hand in this Teams environment, because then we still wait a bit. If I don't see any hands appearing, I assume that you all find your way in Miro. As you can see, I already brought you, I will do it one more time, to the question we are going to answer today. And the brainstorm question we made for you is: how can we serve soldiers a varied and personalized healthy food at every location? This question is very broad, and it has some topics in it. If you would select 3 important items out of these questions, what would it be? Can one of you mention one of the items? It's allowed to talk as well, eh? We cannot read the chat, so please, one of you mention one of the important items out of this sentence.
Fiona, I can moderate the chat, but I think that what you mentioned is that I think it's also very important that students elaborate by voice and video. So please, otherwise put up a hand if you are more comfortable with that.
I already see some people marking the sentence. Okay. So personalized. Who was marking personalized? And why do you think this is the first most important item? You may speak. Anyone?
Well, I didn't mark it, but I also think that personalized is very important because it's a very big public that you need to design this food concept for. But it still needs to be personalized because I can think of ideas that I like, but it's something that you create for a different group. So that's why personalized is, it's important to satisfy the military.
Okay. Thank you. It's thank you for your explanation.
No problem.
I also see varied gets many colors. Is there anyone else who wants to elaborate on varied? Why should it be a varied food?
I think that, like, point one, you don't want to eat the same thing every day, next to the fact that you need different kinds of nutrients that are not in every vegetable or every fruit. So to keep like a healthy balance of food, you need a variety of different foods in your diet.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And healthy also has multiple marks, but also at every location. Anyone wants to reply on that?
Yeah, I marked every because I think it's really important because every location is all over the world, so it needs to be logistic. Yeah, good.
Yeah, so then it's always in the combination of location, every location.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good to mention because every is like really broad, but if you have every location, then it can be anywhere in the world or in space or I don't know, undersea or and healthy. Also links a bit to varied, but also healthy is marked. I know now that you are with 10 teams and you all probably finally gonna work with a different problem definition, or at least some elements will be different within the problem definition. But since we only have limited time, as Paula already mentioned, today we're gonna work with this sentence. If you and your group already have a more concrete direction to go and work, you can answer your question. You can make the question a little bit different. But when you're starting a brainstorm, it's always important to open up the problem definition because you want to open up your vision and you want to get as many ideas as possible. An open mind is very important. And usually, if you see a problem definition, it's a written sentence or it's a small text you are working with. But when you're starting a brainstorm, you're always starting with a question, and the first words of this question is "How can we?" Because with starting with these words means opening up. So you are looking for all possibilities that are there. I also I'm now going to bring you to the some rules for brainstorming. If you go to the Miro board, you can see them. I brought you there. These are the rules that IDEO is using. IDEO is a famous design company, and they are doing a lot about ideation as well. They also have a lot of examples on their website for different ideation techniques. But I like the way they made the rules for brainstorming. And the first one is very important. Last week I was also reading an article about creativity and in combination with innovation. And then it was also mentioned that the most creative people are the people that don't mind what other people think about them. And that is actually the first rule of brainstorming. It's deferred judgment. And that means that you shouldn't say that idea of another person is a stupid idea, or but this idea is nice, but maybe I don't like that aspect. Or every judgment within a brainstorm is wrong. I always say the most important rule within brainstorming is that everything you do is good. The more crazy or the more impossible the idea is you come up with, the more innovative solution you can come up with in the end. So that's the first and most important rule, and maybe even more important than judging your teammates or the people you are brainstorming with, is judging yourself. Because if you are judging yourself or the ideas that come up in your mind, but you don't want to share it because you think they are stupid, that's the most stupid thing you can do in brainstorming. Because brainstorming is also about using your intuition, and yeah, that's a whole different theory about how the brain is working. But if you give yourself an opportunity to share whatever comes up in your mind, this is also food for thought for the other people. If you judge yourself and you are too afraid to share it, then also the ideas of others become limited. So if you want to have the ideas flowing, then you should also should not limit yourself in sharing your thoughts and your ideas. And this is maybe the most difficult part within brainstorming, but I would really like to ask you to do so. And we are going to do a little exercise later on to get you in a bit of a mindset. But let's first have a look at the other rules. Second rule is encourage wild ideas. The wilder, the crazier, the more impossible, like I already said, the more innovative the solution that you can come up with in the end. Because if you are staying in knowledge that you already have, or articles you have been reading about certain topics, then you stay within the same cycle of ideas. So you have to really go out of this box to come up with new ideas. Well, the next one is build on the ideas of others, and that's why I also said about sharing your own thoughts. Every thought is very important, and if you don't like an idea of someone else, then you can also challenge yourself to come up with a better idea, or to change this idea into a feasible idea that you think is unique and new and useful. The other one is stay focused on the topic, and that's why we are using our brainstorm question to start with. We are going back to that question every now and then because you don't want to drift away too much. There should be some links with the topics you are working on. One conversation at a time. Doing brainstorms online makes it a bit more easy, but also more difficult, because everyone in the group should have a possibility to speak up as well. And now for the first part of the brainstorm, it's going to be a more silent brainstorm because we are with too many people and we do it with the whole group. Later on, we will split up in breakout rooms. You have your own Teams environment, I think, with your own team. So you can do the one exercise there, and there I would also like to ask you to give a chance to everyone to share. And if you have the floor, don't make it too long, because a brainstorm also is all about timing and about speeding up, because otherwise you can have endless discussions and you keep circling around the same topic, and we don't want that in this phase. So be visual. I hope you all have the pens and the papers. If not, you will get a small break before the exercise to get some markers, papers, pens, whatever. And also, we would like to ask you one practical thing, to be able to show your background. Some people have the background blurred, but for one of the exercises, we need an unblurred background. Because you have to show some drawings to each other. So we're also going to draw a little bit, and don't be afraid. I'm not a good drawer at all, but by drawing things also maybe someone else will make a whole new idea about it. So it's also inspiration. Even bad drawings are always a good, maybe even a better inspiration than very fancy drawings. So be visual and go for quantity. Normally everyone wants to go for the quality, but in the brainstorm it's all about quantity. So the more the better. every idea, put it on paper, because in the end, when filtering, even the things you didn't want to share before might be the ones you need to come up with something new. Any questions about the brainstorm rules? And if you have a question, please raise your hand, because I cannot see the chat. Or Michelle should.
Yeah, I'm still looking at the chat, but no questions so far. Maybe somebody wants to put up their hand for a question. It's always nicer to hear a voice than to read a question in the chat, but no questions so far?
No questions? Okay. Then I would like to ask you, are there people from all the 10 of the teams? Is there, are there people, only single people from a team? Because then we might want to make smaller groups, because I think you are in total with 70 persons and only half of the group is here. So we should check who is here and who is in a team. Is there someone not seeing any team members in the persons list, or only 2 team members? Please also raise your hand, because then we can maybe combine the groups. Because we need, in a brainstorm, we need some people in a group to.
Is it an idea, Fiona, if we just that every team member just puts their screens up? That we do each team 1, and then they do their screens on, and then we can check the
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm not sure if everybody has a good overview of everybody that's in the chat now or in this meeting. So,
yeah, so everybody in team 1, can you share your, turn on your video? Team 1. I see 2 people in team 1. Then we go to team 2. Oh, that's a big team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Team 3. Also 2. Team 4.
Wait, Fiona, there's people coming in.
I'm too quick. Oh, wow, it's much more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see.
And also in the team 2, there was someone else that was a little late, so 6.
Okay, it's also 6. Perfect. Then we go to team 4.
Yeah, I think I'm the only one from our team.
Okay. No problem. Then we will combine it with another team. Team 5. That's 4 in total. Team 6. It's also nice to see your faces. At least we know who we are talking to. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see. Team 7. One, 2, 3. Team 8.
I'm also there, but I don't have a camera, so 3.
Okay. Also 3. Team 9. It's only 2 of you. 3, I see. Team 9, I think we're 3 people, eh? And then team 10, last but not least. One, 2, 3, 4.
I'm also there. I think there's something wrong with my camera.
Okay, but we hear you. So it's 5 in total. The people who don't have a camera, I saw you in the end. Then I think most of the teams at least have 3 people, only team 1 and team 4. So we are going to combine the 2. So the 2 people from team 1 will join the brave guy of team 4 who's by its own today. So then you are with 3 persons as well. So we have some smaller teams and some bigger teams, but that's fine for now. Like
they
I
will
said,
be working in. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
They will be working in team 1 then, right? Just for us for moderating.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can work in the teams in the micro environment of team 1. Okay. You can move back to the Miro environment, and I will bring you again to the screen. No, don't go too far.
Fiona, I hope that the students can enter the Team 1 channel. I'm not sure, but let's see if we want to discuss.
Otherwise, these two teams can stay here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's also possible.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
I'm not being brought to your screen yet.
No, my screen is going everywhere now. Can you bring us to the overview?
I have never done that actually. Bring everyone to me.
Yeah. Yes. Here you see a start of the brainstorm. And for every team, we made a separate overview to work in. As you can see here, on top is the brainstorm question. And the brainstorm question we were working with is the question I just showed you before. And I will copy it to all the teams. But if you have with your team a more specific question or already chosen a direction to work with, then you can also use your own question as a brainstorm question. And the next exercise, it's an exercise we already did together, was selecting 3 topics out of this brainstorm question. And I think if you are using the standard question, then every location can be one of the topics. Personalization can be one of the topics, and variation can be one of the topics. But you as a team, it's also allowed to choose, for example, health as a topic as well. Or maybe you want to choose, you want to make it more open and choose food as a topic. So I would like to ask you with your team, and it's a bit difficult because I don't want to move back and forward to the breakout rooms the whole time. But I would like to ask you to change the topics here and put a post-it in the middle. I will show you a post-it with the topic in the middle of your board. So for example, here you say every location. So everybody can go to the overview of their own team, and then with your team, just take 3 post-its and put them in the middle of the board and choose 3 topics.
You know, how do I stop that people are following me?
It's if you are moving away, then that's
okay.
It's only one board. If you have any questions, please just raise your hand. I will move back and forward to Miro and Teams, or just say your question. That's also allowed. I already see some teams are really.
Yeah, every team is working except for 4, and that is correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not sure how to contact the other two guys, but it's via this channel, right?
Yeah. Yes, now we're still all in this channel, so
Yeah.
Yeah, are you the one from Team 4?
Yeah,
Then-
that's
then
me.
you can join us, the two
Yeah,
people of
yeah,
Team
yeah.
1 then.
Nice.
Nice. Hello. So what did we do about the other 40 people listening to us?
Sorry, Lucas. Right now we will not be joining the breakout rooms. Later on, this is still. So it's nice that
Sorry.
you are so willing to work together.
I was like, okay, let's get on
But
it.
now you can do it in silence, just on the
Oh,
board, but
okay.
with your team members. And later on, you will be going to the channels, and Fiona will
Oh.
tell you when. But no problem. It's okay.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, you speak Dutch, by the way, or?
Een beetje, ik leer nog.
And
Maar niet zo goed.
Karel, you're also in Team 1 then, or Shirin?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So maybe it's easier if we just start a breakout room, right? I don't know if you can do that.
Oh, no,
yeah,
no,
well, for now we do the next exercise we will do in silence. So we will stay in the general channel all together. And for the next exercise, then you can stay in this channel because all the other teams will go to the teams channel then. I think that's the easiest way. In the meantime, I'm copying the brainstorm question towards your Miro board from the team, so you can check it as well. And I already see a lot of words. I would like to start with a real brainstorm, and I would like to ask you to go to the first board, zoom in on the blue board, and there's one topic in the middle. So go with your team to your own blue board with the one topic, you just put it in the middle, and then you will get 2 minutes. I will start the timer later, and I would like to ask you to come up with all the words that you can think of with, for example, every location. I think about space, I think about underseas, I think about outside, inside, whatever comes up. And also, if you see a word that is written there, you can even make one step further. So if you think about sea, you can think about a submarine, for example. You will get 2 minutes, and you will grab a post-it from the left side, from the sticky note. It's the square with the little triangle. You can get a sticky note and you can put it in there. Please don't make them too big, just zoom in, because then you can also read them easily. And time is starting now. You are getting 2 minutes to write.
Fiona, do they stay here or do they now go to the breakout room?
Possible. No, you can still do it here. So you just write it in the Miro board. You just put the words in the Miro board of your own team, and the more the better. Only do it in the light blue board, so only the first topic. "40 seconds remaining. Okay, time's up. Then we move to the orange board. We're gonna do the same exercise again. As much words as possible. Try to make it double the amount of the blue board. The time is starting now. One more minute. Okay, finish the last one. And then we move to the last board. Again, 2 minutes for your last topic. I see some people working on personalized freshness, varied, healthy.
And I think it really worked because there's a lot of more ideas in the orange than in the blue.
Yes, indeed, there are. As we say in Dutch, you are op stoom.
Yes.
On fire. It is.
Yeah.
On fire. Yeah.
I see that a colleague of mine just mentioned in the chat that team members can't access the rooms of other teams, other channels. So.
Okay, but that's only for team 1 and team 4, so they will leave stay here, and then. Final minute. I see the boards are already too small now. So good job. Finish the last one. Okay, then we're going to the next exercise. And the first part of the exercise we're gonna do all together. But first I would like to ask you, do you all have pen and paper? If not, quickly raise your hand and go and get it. And then come back and unraise your hand, because then I know that everybody has it. But just plain paper and some markers, pens, whatever. I still see some hands. So we are waiting a bit more. In the meantime, you can already have a good look at the board you just created. And just quickly go over the post-its that you put in there. I see everybody has pen and paper in the meantime. Then I will give you, I'm timing everything with the brainstorm, because otherwise, like I said, you can keep continuing exercises on and on, but that it's also good to have a time limit, because then you put also pressure on putting the first idea you have on paper. You get 1 minute to choose from every board, every topic. You just created the whole spider diagrams. Choose one word or one post-it from every board and just write it down on your paper. On the corner of your paper, you just write one word from the blue board, from the orange board, and from the dark blue board. The minute is starting now. If you have any questions, just raise your hand.
Sorry, just one from out of everything or one from each team?
Per team, you have
Okay.
just for yourself. It's a personal exercise.
Yeah.
So every team member writes 3 words, 1 word from each board you just created. And it can be that something that inspires you or something you think is crazy or whatever.
But from your own team, right?
Yeah, from the board of your own team. Otherwise it becomes a bit too too much. So you only focus on the board of the team you are working in. Okay, make a final decision. Okay, everybody has 3 words. Then I'm going to be nice to you, because I'm going to give you 2 minutes to come up with an idea that answers your question. How can we serve soldiers varied and personalized healthy food at every location? You come up with a solution using the 3 words you have just written in the corner, and in 2 minutes you only have the time to write the first idea that comes up in your mind. And please also draw, be visual. The time is starting now. So come up with a solution. The crazier, the better. The more impossible, the better. Everything is good.
Oh, sorry, could you explain that one again? We just wrote down 3 things from our board.
Yeah.
And now with these things, we are supposed to
come up with an idea. And I'm forcing you to use these 3 words to come up with a solution. And the crazier the solution is, the better. And you don't really have much time, so just combine the 3 words into any possible solution.
All right.
Or impossible. 40 seconds left, so finish your drawing. You can also write some words with it. Everything is fine. Finish it up. Okay, Then I would like to quickly ask you to turn on your cameras and show your ideas. Nice.
Is that a drone, Lucas?
The Wheel of Fortune, I see.
Yes, kind of. Like the idea was to have a fridge that is carried by a drone to the soldier. So that's like literally the most personalized thing.
Great. Wow.
Okay. We're not going to elaborate on the ideas too much because now it's time to move to the breakout rooms. In the meantime, I will now quickly explain the exercise, but I will also guide you through the exercise via Miro. So I will use the timers in Miro. And I would like to ask you guys to have, do you have a team? Hopefully you have a team leader or a project manager within your team. At least have one person monitoring the brainstorm. So keep track of following the steps I'm showing you in Miro. But also keep in mind the brainstorm rules, because I would like to know in the end if you were able to keep these rules into mind and to keep working with them. The next exercise, the next phase is you are moving to the breakout rooms, and then you will show, like we just did, you will show your idea to the team members, and then you should make a carousel or something, because then one of the next team member, so I'm showing it, then Paola is showing it, and Paola is elaborating on my idea. You use the idea of the previous person as inspiration to come up with a new idea. So I give you the challenge to arrange this within your team. For the teams of 6 people, it's a bit more hassle than the team of 3 people. You show the idea, and then you get only 1 minute to come up with a new idea, to make this idea better, to extend the idea. Maybe you come up with a complete new solution, whatever. Everything is fine again. Really short time again. It's a really difficult exercise. Please keep that in mind, because some people may be a bit stressed with these exercises, but I'm forcing you to come up with the first idea that you get into your mind, to put it on paper. So really do that. Yeah, I will show you in the Miro board, and we do this round one more time. So I will show you with post-its in Miro. I will bring you there what the next step is. So show the ideas to your team and don't explain them. Only show them quickly, and then the next round is starting. Okay, so I would like to ask you to go to your own breakout room, and then the persons from team 1 and team 4 can stay here. And via Miro, post-its in Miro, I will bring you there. I will show you the next steps. Any questions?
You're mentioning breakout rooms, but you mean the channel. So
yeah, the team's channel. Yeah, so you move to your own team. And when I put in Miro, move back to the Teams meeting, then I mean this channel.
Yeah, and you mean that it's a chain. So the first student member shows the drawing, then the next one should create a new idea, and then based on that drawing.
No, you do it all together. So everybody's showing the drawing, and then from one other person you elaborate on the idea.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a clock, actually. Normally, when you're sitting at the table, you use the clock, but now you should make an order of people, and then I'm elaborating on your idea. You are elaborating on his or her idea, and so on. So everybody's doing the same exercise at the same time.
Okay.
All clear? Then you can move to your team's environment, your own team.
Fiona, I will go to team 5, 6, 7. If you do 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, can you access the teams?
I will try.
Sure, and access gave you access, so you should have access to the teams.
Okay, I think one of my team members, she said she also arrived, so that's great.
Okay. Well, then you can still do it with the 4 of you.
Yeah.
And you
Team 1
said
is also quite many by now, though, but
Hi,
we're happy to
guys.
take them.
Oi.
hi.
Yeah, and you already have ideas to elaborate on, so
And Fiona, you're setting the timer in Miro, so we know
Yeah.
when to get back? Okay.
Yeah.
I will go to team 2 now.
Yeah, Fiona, you can just focus on Miro. That's better, I think. Maybe we can divide it, Michelle, ourselves among 5 teams. No, okay. I will do it. I will do all the teams. No, it's okay. Yeah, I will just
Okay.
try to get into the teams actually.
So shall we start then with one of your ideas to discuss that?
well, actually, it's better to show all ideas at the same time.
Yeah.
Make a list of who is following up on whose idea.
Okay. Okay, so then we just all show our paper.
Yeah, and then you focus on one of the ideas of the others.
Okay.
You should unblur.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult to see anyway, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just writing stuff down, so it's not really a drawing.
I have like a phone.
I'm also having a phone.
Okay. So where do we want to start then?
Maybe
again
you
with-
start with reacting on one person's drawing.
Yeah. So Eva, you said you wrote something down, right?
No, I did.
Oh, you did.
Yeah. So I wrote down making small packages which can be interchanged between meals, which have also different calorie counts to provide enough energy.
Okay. Nice. And you, Lucas?
I don't know if you can see this, but I have a soldier who's literally being in his camp, I think here, and then ordering something via his phone to a satellite that just goes to the Netherlands, and then they just send you a fridge with a quadricopter, and that just gets sent to you, and then it's like the most personalized meal you can possibly have. So
Nice. That would be something.
With a quadricopter.
Okay, so now you can create a new drawing based upon yeah. Just pick out one idea you just heard. Create a new drawing for that.
Okay.
And you have 1.5 minutes. Fiona, I cannot enter the other team, so I will just stay here. I have no other. This is it.
we're pretty cool anyway, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. 10 seconds left. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so as Fiona mentioned in the Miro board, only show your ideas, but don't explain, and let yourself be inspired by just what you see, and maybe you see something else in it, and that's okay. So yeah, show it in your show it in front of the camera.
Cheryl, your background is a bit
I
blurred.
know.
Oh, okay. Just
I tried. I don't know how to do it. I'm sorry.
Nice,
no.
a 3D printer. That was nice. What did you have, Robert? I didn't saw yours.
Yeah, so I was thinking of the possibility to create something
Can
like.
you show it, Robert?
Yeah, I can show it again, but it's a bit fake.
Oh, without cooking?
It's some kind of a buffet, you could say, which could be created inside of the kitchen or the MSK or whatever you want to call it, which gives the opportunity to add like personalized flavors, etc. Yeah, to create more personal dishes, and then soldiers can in advance indicate their preferences via an app or something.
Okay, so then again, it's now 1 minute, I think. I see the timer for another final drawing based upon any inspiration you just got.
Well, actually, I'm trying to start a new round as well. I think I moved everybody to the select 3 new words, but
okay. Should we do that? Is someone living near a highway? I hear this motorcycle in my ear. Okay. Fiona just mentioned that you have to select 3 new words from your team field. Is there still time to do that, Fiona? I guess so. So now you can go back to your team board and select 3 new words, so 1 from each colored field. I will give you 40 seconds for that. And then after the 40 seconds, immediately draw something with those 3 words. So if you already have the 3 ideas, you can now draw something, a new idea. Thirty seconds left for your drawing. Okay, so again, showing your drawing to the team.
So what
Can
was
I
your
see
idea?
yours, Lucas?
Oops, sorry.
Oh, can I see yours, Lucas? I didn't see it. There's a lot happening, but okay.
Yeah, it's like an entire process diagram. I just went for it, you know, just but here we are.
Is it correct, Fiona, that I heard the alarm from Myra? Didn't I hear that correct?
Yes, several times already.
Several times already, okay.
So what now? Another round. Fiona mentioned in Myro.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can
Okay.
maybe Michelle, we can both not go to the channels. Can you go another round and see if everyone is still okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
I will.
And in the meantime, this team can work on another idea.
Can we also look at the other team's board, or is it strictly for our own board?
No, only your own board. In a minute, I'm going to ask everybody to move back to this general teams meeting, so we can see how the teams have been doing.
It's not really in my screen right now. I think I'm still following you. Oh, no, it is. Okay, sorry. Oh.
Yeah, I will get everybody there when time's up.
Okay. And later you will learn how to select out of all the ideas you now created.
I see already a lot of people coming back.
Sharel, I'm going to mute you, or you can maybe mute yourself, but yeah, thanks.
Okay, I think as I can see in the participants list, everybody's back. A bit of chaos, I think, in most of the groups. Who hasn't been able to come up with ideas in this exercise? Please raise your hand. No one. So that's a good sign.
Yes.
Usually, of course, it's much easier doing this real life, but we decided we wanted to have a drawing exercise within this workshop to get you acquainted with it. It's much more difficult to do it in an online setting, of course. But I hope you at least got a little bit of taste on how you could do these types of exercises. I would really recommend you to do this maybe over again when you have a more concrete brainstorm question with your team, and then I would also advise you to go and sit together to real life to do this, because that makes brainstorming much easier. And I think working in a team, even during these times, it's important to get to know each other and also have the chance to see each other in the eye live instead of only via screen. So just do that. But now, after doing this exercise, you can do multiple rounds, and you can also do a round where I'm selecting 3 words and I'm giving these 3 words to my neighbor, that he or she has to use these words to come up with new ideas, for example. Later on, like I said, on IDEO, you can also find a lot of ideas for other brainstorm tools. There's a lot available. We can share some with you later. But I also wanted to share with you a little exercise, because now you created like a bunch of ideas. And if you do this for half an hour in a live setting, in a half an hour, you can create like 50 to 100 ideas if you are with a team of 5 to 10 persons, for example. So you create a lot of ideas in a short time. The next step is, of course, to select the ideas and to rank these ideas. And I can show you, we move back to the Miro board again. I will bring you to me, because a very easy way to select and rank ideas is using the now, wow, how method. And actually, it's a schedule, as you can see in the Miro board. The horizontal line on the left side are very boring ideas, and on the right side are very new and innovative ideas. And the vertical line is the difficulty line. So the most lower part is very easy to implement, and the highest is very difficult to implement. What you get is in the upper the grayish corner, you get the now ideas. It's ideas that are easy to implement and quite okay regarding innovation. On the upper right corner, you get the how ideas, because these ideas that are very difficult, but also very interested and very new and innovative. But on the right lower corner, you get the wow ideas, because these are easy to implement and very innovative. So this is a way to rank your ideas in feasibility, especially. So a next step, what you can do, we don't have the time right now, and it's really difficult. You have to go back to the breakout rooms again. But the next step, what you can do with your team, is to go through these ideas. So you explain ideas, and the other team members explain what they elaborated on the idea, or they came up with new ideas after your idea. So you just discuss these ideas, but do it quickly as well, because it can also take a day, but take 1 minute per idea, for example. Discuss these ideas and write down elements that are very interesting for your project. You can put extra post-its on the ideas as well. And then if you discuss the ideas, you can immediately put them and rank them in this now, wow, how schedule. So where would you indicate the feasibility of this idea? And if you do this for all ideas, you immediately get an overview of the wow ideas that are mainly the ideas that are easy to implement and that you can do right now. And maybe even also how ideas, elements of how ideas can be very important. So if you pinpoint on the important elements by putting post-its on the ideas and rank the ideas yourself, you immediately in a short time get a real broad overview of ideas that might help you in your project. And maybe there's already an idea that is the idea and you want to continue with, but maybe it's a combination of ideas, or it's just an element of an idea that you think is very important and you want to discover more. You can do another brainstorm session on this certain element, for example. You can go deeper into it or do research on certain elements, whatever. There's a lot of different design processes you can go through. after brainstorming. But the important part in the design process is that it's an iterative process. So now we did this, so we widened, we came up with a lot of ideas, we diverged, and then next time is we going to converge. So you're going to select ideas, and out of this now our house schedule, you can also select your ideas and you can elaborate on them again. If it's not the right idea, you can do the divergation again, but then more focused towards one of the ideas. We're not going to do that now, like I said, because we just simply don't have the time for it. But does any one of you have any questions about this schedule and the selection of the ideas? Do you think you can work on it with your team?
Yes, thank you.
Yes? Okay, good to hear. And then I'm really curious about how you felt during this session. Maybe it's really good to go over all the teams really quickly. There was one team lead, and I'm really curious on were you able to maintain the brainstorm rules? Probably it was a bit chaotic in what should we do now, following Miro and teams and whatever. But for team 1 and 4, we could follow them a bit because they were in this channel. It was a bit chaotic, but do you think it's helpful? And do you think you followed the brainstorm rules during the session? Can one of you explain?
Yeah, I think it was quite helpful. I have to say I personally didn't really care much about the rules. In the sense that I just forgot about them, but apart from that, it was definitely helpful, yeah.
But were you able to just spit whatever came into your mind?
Yeah, I think I for my part did. So yeah, definitely.
Okay, good to hear. Team 2?
Yes, it was a bit chaotic, but very energizing, so that was fun. And I think we were even a bit too safe because we were explaining a lot, so it wasn't a complete free flow of ideas, but it was very fun to do.
Yeah. That's always. I also wrote it in one of the post-its. Don't try to not explain your idea, especially when drawing. It's always fun because my interpretation of your drawing can be completely different than your own, for example. So this also gives an opportunity to come up with new ideas. But yeah, this discussion. It's also when explaining ideas. You should still keep it short because otherwise it's too much. But when you find out interesting elements that you really feel your team really has, there's something in there, of course, then more discussion can be possible. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Team 3. Team 3 already left the building. The cloud. No one from team 3? There were 6 people. Come on.
Yes, I think we.
It was also a little bit chaotic, but it was fun, and I think we have some good ideas. So.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yes.
Thank you. And positive chaos is also nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, brainstorming should be fun. Team number 5.
Hi. I think we are still a bit bound to rules and what is the exact exercise. So that's maybe kind of university thing. So we entered the other meeting and everybody was more like, what do we exactly need to do? We don't get it. We were thinking, what's in the box? So that was fun. And then we just went for it. Okay, half a minute, just write, screen,
that's
draw.
cool.
And I think it was fun. But we also wondered how efficient is the half a minute idea. I think we really liked it, but also wanted to ask another person what he was thinking. Of course, after you could elaborate on his or her idea. Otherwise, yeah, we are still bound to somebody's perspective. But yeah, we liked it.
Yeah, yeah, that's the 1.5 minute idea is specifically such a high time pressure that you don't have the time to elaborate, because the elaboration you do later. So that's the next phase. You are going to explain your idea, and then you do the elaboration, and then it's like, I thought you meant that, or there's the discussion taking place. Because if you do that, already someone is putting his or her idea into the other one's heads, and yeah, when brainstorming, it should be as open as possible. So that's time-wise why this is so chaotic as well. I think also it's good that this exercise is a bit chaotic. Normally when I'm doing brainstorms with bigger teams, sometimes also within teams you see hierarchy. If the boss or the manager is joining a brainstorm as well or whatever, I always like to do brainstorm with teams as broad as possible. I would even like to invite the cleaner if you are talking about the kitchen and healthy food. Also cleaning is very, very important, so why not invite someone from the cleaning department to join your brainstorm, for example, but also the boss of the maybe the general of the defense. I don't know all these all these rankings there, but he has certain ideas about the food, and maybe money-wise there's rules as well. So teams can also be very diverse, but then it's also very important to equalize everyone, because if you have people from different hierarchies, sometimes I do an exercise and it's called the horse race, and it's like really doing this on the table and going to the right and going to the left and jumping, and so everybody, if you're doing it live, we can also do it on screen. Sometimes I do the dancing with everybody in front of the screen if it's an online brainstorm, but these exercises are also there to equalize everybody. Everybody is an equal person within a brainstorm. No one has a bigger say than someone else, and that's also important, and that's why I think this chaos exercise is also very taking people out of their own comfort zone. So it's always good to help. You were team 5, I think, huh? Or
I
6?
was team 5, yeah.
5. Then we go to 6. Thank you.
Yeah, it was team 6. It was definitely, as everybody has been saying, a bit chaotic and a bit rushed. So I think doing our own brainstorm session, a bit more time will be nice. But the fact that you had so little time was also fun and unexpected, because you, as you said, you don't have time to think about your own idea. Just the first thing that pops up, you immediately share. So it was fun and interesting. But it was a bit hard to interact about each other's ideas with so little time.
Yeah, indeed.
But,
that's true. And that's also like, time you need more.
Yeah. Yeah. But also, especially the Miro board also seems like a really nice tool for brainstorming and cooperation, especially online.
Yeah. Yeah, and you see that a lot is happening in there as well. So
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Team 7.
Yeah, as I already mentioned, it was good to know that the time limit aspect is important in this.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's also something, if you organize your own brainstorm session, it's good to really plan this session beforehand, also by the minute. And yeah, within your team it's more difficult, but have one person taking track of the time and also the rules like we did right now. But yeah, if you do this more, I would really advise you to bring the alarm clock or use the timer in Miro or whatever, because yeah, it should be within the boundaries. Thanks. Team 8.
Yeah, I really liked the brainstorming session. A lot of good tips, and it also made it kind of fun. But we did it a little bit wrong because we were a bit confused. So we didn't do the drawing part, so that made it more difficult. But yeah, other than that, I thought it was fun, except for like what everybody mentioned, it was chaotic. So yeah.
So you came up with a complete new exercise.
Yeah, I guess so. We couldn't really do it the same, so we just talked about the ideas mostly.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
hopefully there were some good ideas there as well for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you know that if you organize one yourself, that you can do it with a drawing, and it's just the practice to later on do it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Team number 9.
Yeah, we ended up being just 2 of us, so it wasn't as chaotic as everybody else. So we really like just discussing our ideas, and we did also lose a bit of time on the drawings. we didn't lose it, but we did like the drawings. And yeah, the rest, I think everything else is mentioned already.
Okay. Thank you. Hopefully next time more team members will join. And then last but not least, number 10.
We also didn't figure out that we had to draw, so we only realized at the last timer, I think. So we have some drawings, but only a little bit. So I'm pretty excited to try the drawing for the next brainstorm session. Yeah, it was nice. It was interesting.
Okay.
You have such a cool background.
Oh yeah.
You must be really inspired by your own room then.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Well, it's already at 12 past 12:30, so I think we have to wrap up. If there are no further questions, I would really like to thank you. I'm happy that you, most of you at least, enjoyed the session and also had fun, because I always think that's the most important part as well. Get to know your team members a little bit better in a different way, and please continue with this. And if you have any questions about brainstorming, you can always send me or Paola or Michelle an email and ask them.
Yeah.
We will also give you some links and also a book with the reference for other brainstorm tools to use. But Michelle can send it out later. So I think that's it. I don't know if Paola or Michelle wants to say some more.
No, I really liked it. Although I didn't really do the brainstorm myself, but it was nice to look at it from the side, and yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the session. So I will add the sources in the Innovative Learning platform. So if you can send me those resources, then yeah, that would be great. And thanks for moderating this session.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
and then hopefully we can join the final presentation to see what came out of it at the end.
Yeah, something with drones. Yeah.
Yeah. Wheels of Fortune. Well, good luck with your project, everybody, and see you later.
Yes, see you. Bye-bye.